Yesterday, I did something, and it was incredible because it caused a really fast chain reaction, is the best word I can find right now for it, of manifestations that are really good. And it worked. And the crazy thing is that the day before, I did it also, and it worked. And I did it again this morning, and it worked. So what I want to share with you in this video is I can't believe how simple it is. And I've been doing a really good job lately with my manifestations and just feeling really good. And just the quality of my life's been getting better and better. But this is like a new breakthrough for sure. This is like a serious level up for me. And I just can't believe how easy it is. And it makes me feel so silly for how hard I was making it even before. So I wanted to share with you in this video the method that you can use to prove to yourself, to show yourself how powerful you are. You could consider that what we're talking about in this video as a manifestation method. You could consider this a method of the law of attraction. And the real idea here, though, that's so exciting about this is that you do this, you're going to see real evidence real fast that you are creating your reality, and it's going to trip you out. So here's what I did. I'm not even going to try to make this all confusing and drag this out. This is going to be a fast video. I know it. So basically, I had a few rough days where I wasn't feeling as well. Some of you may have noticed that I was more absent from my channel in terms of like hanging out and responding and having conversations with you for the last few days. So this was just because honestly, I was tired. And so I was putting my energy in some other places and resting. But essentially what happened is I had a few days where I started to feel that kind of momentum, where I wasn't feeling as well as I had been. And what's cool is that I just felt this random impulse within me. I felt excited to come to the river out by my house here. And I sat right here in this spot. This is my new morning spot right here, apparently. My third day coming here in the morning. And what's really cool is all I did was I sat down and I went to speak to Abraham, but instead, for some reason, it just didn't resonate as much in that moment. And instead of being upset about that, I just kind of relaxed and I listened. And I felt really drawn to talk out loud to myself, which I do often. But what I was speaking about was things like this. I was remembering some really good times in my life where things really were going well for me. And I just started talking out loud about it. For example, I had the experience over the last few days where, just to be honest, you know, we were putting some money together for rent, and it wasn't there. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I know not to freak out about it. I know that everything's going well, and I know that the real intention of mine is to feel good. It's not really about the money. It's about feeling good. So I was maintaining that focus, which I'm really excited that I was able to do that in just 3 days, is get back aligned with that. But essentially what happened was I started saying out loud, I remembered back to a time where I was making a lot of money, and I was just reflecting on that and remembering back. And I remember that time very well. And I was kind of closing my eyes and feeling what it was like to be that version of me. And I remember I was driving around and I was shopping all the time. Honestly, I really love shopping. I love going through all the stores, and I love seeing new crystals and outfits and meals and food and things like that. And I really liked the feeling that I had at that time, where I felt like I could get anything and do anything. And I remember I would pass by all the people on the street with the sign saying they were hungry, and I'd have a meal for everyone. And I really liked that. I really liked the way that felt. I really liked that there were some of my friends that were going through struggles that were able to come to me, and I was able to really help them and put that vibe out and show them, hey, look, like, you can do it too. And I remember the way that it felt. So that's how it started, okay? So what's the real method? I'm going to make this clear. That's my experience leading into it. There's the preface, everyone. Well, the method is simple, and I've been talking about it for about 2 months now. And what's interesting is, even though I've been talking about it and I've been doing it, I just discovered how easy it really is. The idea is to talk more about what you like, to focus more on what you like. Because what a lot of times we're doing is we're focused and thinking all throughout the day about things we don't like or about things that are bothering us and aren't going well. Think about it. That's what the majority of people have their attention pulled to. A lot of us are moving towards positive change in our life, but we're doing so by focusing on what we don't like about right now. A counterexample, I could be like, okay, I don't like my financial position right now. I don't like that I don't have rent and it's already past due. Right? You could talk about it like that. You could say, so I want more money. But your real focus, I got to go under the tree and change the lighting here because it's raining on my phone right now. So anyways, so you see what I'm saying? Your focus could be on what you want, but it could be in a way that isn't really beneficial for you because you're actually thinking about what you don't like, what you dislike. So I swear, this is the craziest thing. I started thinking about what it was like to be the version of me that was just pulling it in. I mean, I was banging at that time. That was just mind blowing to me. And I remember how natural it felt. That's the crazy thing. It felt natural to be able to do what I want to do without thinking about it. It felt natural to be able to rent the Airbnbs I was staying at and go to all these cool places. It felt natural to be able to get whatever I wanted. It felt natural to feel like every day I logged into my business store, there's like 20 or 30 new orders. I remember how that felt. It was just, I just knew that that's the way it was. And so basically all I did was I started talking out loud. Here's the method. I focused on that time and what it felt like. And I just was honest. I wasn't trying to lie to myself or convince myself that's my situation right now because that's bullshit. It's not. But what's really interesting is what ended up happening was just by talking about like this. I really like the way it feels. I really like the way it feels to not even think about money at all. I really like that. I really like the way that feels to be able to go around and go into all the stores and money isn't even a conversation. I just know that I can truly just get anything I want and that I'm a vibrational match for it. I really like the way that feels, right? So that's what I did. I started talking about that. And now as I talked about that, that's what started this. This is what helped me discover it. Then what I started doing was I started naturally feeling like talking about other things that I like. I had been having some sleeping issues the last few days where it was like hard for me to sleep and I was waking up a lot and I would wake up really not feeling well. And that was bothering me, obviously. But what I did instead was I started focusing just naturally on what it felt like. Like I know what it feels like to get a really banging night's sleep. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to wake up feeling really, really, really good and going to sleep at night knowing I'm going to fall asleep instantly and that my bed is so cozy and that I feel so accomplished and I've got this incredible positive momentum that I'm going to sleep with. I know what that feels like. I've had that before. So I just spoke about it. I really like the way that feels. I really like that. Then I started talking about other things. I really like the way that it feels to feel super connected to my partner. I really like the way it feels when we go on hikes and have these really inspired conversations. I like when we have this romance between us too, you know? And I start talking about all these things. I start talking about more. I really, really like the incredible community on my YouTube channel that I get to log in and talk to all these amazing people who are just like mind-blowingly cool. I really like that. I really like the way it feels. I really like the way it feels to make a video and feel once I stop and I push the stop recording button. I like that feeling of knowing that it's a really good video. I like the way that feels to know that it is really good. You see? I like the way it feels to hit the trail with my camera and all my equipment charged and knowing that I'm going to make like 5, 10 videos and that I'm so excited to do it. I love these things. I love the way that these feel. So I literally just sat over there for like an hour, literally talking about what I liked. And the craziest thing that happened, I felt an activation within me. So here's what you've got to understand about this method. And I'm going to tell you the results I got from doing this are mind-blowing, okay? This method is simple. You are always putting out a vibration to reality, and you are always attracting like vibrations to you. We've been talking about this. You know this. You already know it. That when you are focused on things you don't like, more and more of what you don't like shows up, and you get yourself stuck in that, and sometimes we feel like we're spiraling. But what's interesting is what I've realized is when you talk about what you do like and you focus on that and you generally have this smile on your face like I have when I do it, it's like, damn, I love my life. I love the way that it feels to be living this reality. I like that so much. I love the way that is. What's interesting is you immediately activate that vibration within you. You activate it. So what I did 2 days ago when I did this was I activated the vibrations within me of what I really do like. And what's interesting is I felt very clearly, very high vibrational. I had a huge shift. I instantly felt better. And I had one of the best days I've had in so long. And what I did was the entire day, I kept talking about what I like. I did not sway from that focus, no matter what was happening, no matter what the number in the bank account was, no matter what I was supposed to do on my to-do list. None of it mattered, because I just kept talking about what I like. I just kept focusing on what I like. And the most incredible thing happened. I had an amazing day with my partner. We were like super connected and it felt amazing. You know, sometimes it's not always like that, just to be honest. And so instead of focusing on what I don't like, I focused on what I do. And that's exactly what the day was. It was incredible. We had an amazing day. It was like one of the best days ever. And then I find out that we made literally like a whole handful of sales on our store, which we hadn't made any for a good amount of days. And I was like, oh, that's really nice too. And then the craziest thing happened. When I went to bed that night, I felt amazing laying there. And I slept the entire night. Didn't wake up once, not even once. And when I woke up in the morning, I woke up to the sunrise. And I woke up with a smile. And I felt amazing. And I felt incredible. And I felt 100 times better than I even did the day before. And I felt so positive and so inspired and so good. And then I just kept talking. I just kept talking. What do I like? I just keep talking about what I like. And this is my third day now doing it. And I'm telling you right now, just try it. Okay. This is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. I've seen enough times now how powerful I am over the last few years to know truly that I am the creator of my experience. But this is a quote unquote method that is going to change everything for you. I have just changed everything for myself. And I'm so grateful that I had a few days where I didn't feel well, because it just reaffirmed even more deeply within me how powerful and tapped in and tuned I am to just the incredibleness. And it's easy. It's really that easy. I just don't give any attention to the things that I don't like. I just focus on what I do like. And this seems to be the easiest way for me to do it, is to talk out loud. And what I've learned is that starting first thing in the morning, you know how your mind starts to wander sometimes when you wake up and you start thinking about things you got to do or this, and that. Instead of doing that, immediately when you wake up, this is where the dedication comes in. This is where the real effort is. The real effort, the real dedication is actually about wanting to feel good enough, knowing that you deserve it, and being willing to give it to yourself to the point that you're willing to exercise the effort to maintain that focus on what you do like. It's not that hard to come out in the morning and talk about what you like. So I come out here because it does feel a little bit weird to talk to myself in front of other people or at home with Ruby there. So I come out here and I just sit right here and I just start talking. And here's the thing. Don't try to project something that you like. Let's say you want to make more money. Let's say you want to succeed more in your career. Let's say you want to attract a partner. Don't sit here and talk about something that you like, that because you'll feel a little bit of discord between it. It'll feel kind of weird. So what I've learned is don't reach super far to try to talk about something that you want. Instead, reflect back on some amazing times you've had that you already know what it feels like, that you know happened, that you can recall. Let's talk about the romantic partner example. You've been in a relationship before, right? Maybe you haven't, but you do know what it feels like to have a really special connection with someone and to feel loved. And like you both are looking forward to each other's company more than anything, right? So it's simple. What you do is you just talk out loud and you actually talk about that. You remember that. You go, I really like the way it feels to be with someone and to know that both of us just have this mutual understanding, like we're each other's people, you know? Like, I really like the way it feels to have someone to share my inspiration and everything in life with. I love the way that feels. I love the way it feels to come home and know that someone else is there and is excited to play with me. So you know what these things feel like. So you can understand and use that example that you can start tuning into the vibrational match of these realities that you're asking for. Because the truth is that I am asking for some shifts right now. I am. I really am. I'm asking for more people to come to the channel. I'm asking for that. I'm asking for even more and more and more incredible content to come through me. I'm asking for my relationship to get better and better and better. I'm asking for my financial situation to constantly improve. I'm asking for the house of my dreams to come and say, hey, Nathan, I'm right here. And guess what? It's yours. You know, I'm asking for these things. I am. I'm asking for constant improvement. And I like the way it feels to keep allowing things to get better and better for myself. I like the way that feels. I like the way it feels to feel so motivated and inspired. And I like the way it feels to know that all that stuff is coming to me. I really like the way that that feels. I really like the way it feels to be really certain that it's coming. I really like that I'm alive. I really like that every single day I can do everything that I want to do whenever I want, that it's really up to me, that I really am the one who chooses. I like that feeling of freedom. I really like the way it feels to be hungry at the end of the day. I really love it. And I really love to have an exciting meal that I know I'm going to eat. And I love that for the few hours before I get to that meal, I'm just so excited and looking forward to it. And when I finally sit down and eat, it's like one of the high points of my day. I love that. I love that feeling. I really love it. I love how good it feels to go to sleep and sleep so deeply and wake up so excited. I love the way it feels to feel inspired. I love that I don't even have to come up with any of my video ideas anymore, that I don't even have to spend even a single second trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about. I love that all I do is I just feel good and I do what I want to do. And I have these impulses of inspiration within me that say, it would feel so good right now to talk about this in a video. And so it just comes to me and it just comes through. See, there's so much to like and love about your life. And this is what I've discovered. And we've been saying this for a while now, that when you focus on what you want and you allow yourself to actually offer that vibration right now, that you attract that to yourself. That's what we've been talking about. But here's an even easier way to see how it really works. When you focus on anything, you activate the essence of the way you're thinking about it within yourself, the essence of it. So if you think about money, you're not going to attract money, because if you think about money, you might be thinking about the lack of it. You might be feeling a more separation from it. So what you're actually activating is financial lack. And so you're going to attract more of that. So that's one simple example of what I mean. It's the essence of what you're thinking about that's vibrationally activated within you. So what I do is I just let it happen. Don't push it. Don't try super hard. It's simple. Sit down, find a nice quiet space for yourself. Maybe you'll prefer journaling. Maybe you'll prefer talking to another person. It's up to you. What works best for me is just coming out and talking out loud. I know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Source. I'm talking to God. I know who's listening. I know I'm listening. So I talk to myself because that's who I like talking to. So I just talk. I just let it out. I just start thinking about things that I really liked. And I started this morning, for example, with yesterday. I really liked the hike that Ruby and I went on. I really liked the conversation that we had. It was a really cool conversation. I like how good it felt to be out all day with her. And I like going around, and I like going around town and driving out to, and we discovered a new trail that we hadn't been on before. I loved the way that that felt. I loved how my dog Lightning and our new puppy Spring really started clicking and really getting along yesterday. I really liked that a lot, you know, and I really love the special connection that Lightning and I have that I just don't feel with like just anything or anyone else. There's like this profound connection. Like, I know this guy. We've always been together through like every single life. And I really like that. So that's what I started doing. And then it just keeps going and going and going, because you're activating the vibration within you of what you like. And so you start drawing even more thoughts to yourself about what you like. That's literally how easy it works. Pick one thing that you know you like the feeling of and really sit there and really talk about it. See, let go of all the things you don't like. You don't need to hold on to those things. You don't need to think about them. You don't need to try to solve those problems, because the truth is that the solution is already out there, because you're a very powerful being. What your job is to vibrationally match it. And this is what I've discovered is how I'm able to do this so easily now. Just talk about what you like. It activates that vibration within you. And I swear to God, every day is literally better and better and better. And I really like the way that that feels. I like that it's so easy to live. I like that it's just natural for me to be alive, that all the cells in my body, that all of my organs, everything, it just works for me. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to make it work. I like how easy it is to just breathe in and there's air. I love that. I love eating food. It's amazing. It's so incredible. I love making videos. Seriously, I love this so much. So much. There's so many things that I really like and love. And the more I talk about those, the more I focus on those, more and more of it comes. And don't take my word for it. I mean, you can, and it's probably a good thing if you're willing to, because you're going to see great results, but you don't have to take my word for it. Because this is one of those things that doesn't happen just because of your beliefs. It happens because of the fundamental mechanics of reality. What you are focused on is vibrationally active within you. What is vibrationally active within you is the vibration you are offering. The vibration you are offering draws more things in reality that match that vibration. So it's simple. Try it for yourself. You'll see that it works. You can literally, I'm telling you, it would be more valuable for you to shred your entire to-do list of all the things you think is super important to do today. I'm telling you, it would be far more valuable for you to shred it, burn it, throw it in the trash, get it out. Just get it out of there and go find yourself a nice spot where you feel comfortable, where you feel ready, where you feel activated to be able to do this. And just sit there for as long as you want. Just talk about what you like. Just do it all day. Do it all day. And you'll find that after just like 5, 10, 15, 20, an hour, what's interesting is that vibration gets so activated within you that it starts to build this momentum. And if you're like me, you'll end up standing up and I walk home. And I go and I do all the things that I would do throughout the day. I do it all. But the crazy thing is that I go with such a positive momentum in my day that I'm constantly activated within me what I like. I'm constantly focused on the things that I like. I'm constantly feeling good. And that is very, very powerful. And I swear to you, every night I go to sleep now, it's really good. And I wake up in the morning and I feel even better. I literally feel like I'm just doing massive quantum leaps. And it's amazing. And it's like the biggest, like, damn, who would have thought it would be that easy, you know? So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I love you all. I'm back. I've got some great sleep. I'm ready to talk to everybody. I hope everybody's been doing really well. And I got some really good content coming out, better than it's ever been. So much love to you. I'll see you for the next video.